Hey y'all, what's up? This is the Eyeglass Lady. I am back as promised this week with part two of the journey. That's right, y'all. This is the journey of what it took to get my eyewear optical store off the ground, right? I don't know if you had a chance to check out part one, but if not, go back and check out the video of part one. I really kind of pulled back the curtains and was honest about that whole process and what it looked like. And I promised you that for part two that I would come with a checklist. And that's what I've created for you guys today. I am being 100% transparent here. I am being vulnerable with you guys. My thing is, if I just help one person, then I've already won, right? And again, the reason why I am sharing this stuff is because when I was first getting started back in 2024, I did a lot of research. I mean, what they call a YouTube university, that was me. I was on YouTube. I was, using all my resources in the community, which is all these are good things, but there was just a lot of things that I had to learn from trial and error. And I promised God that if He got me through, that I would kind of share with everyone. I would share the journey. And then maybe it can stop someone else who's trying to do similar to what I'm doing from going through the trials and going through the error. And you'll just be able to go in boots to the ground, right? So, I'm laying it all out there. So let's jump into it. Let's get this checklist together. Number one, pray. Pray. Before you get started in anything, I don't care what your business is, you need to pray. You need to talk to God and ask Him, is this what you want me to do? You need to see that vision clearly, and you'll know. You don't have to have everything lined out together. You don't have to have all the I's dotted. You don't have to have all the T's crossed. Lord knows I didn't. But what I had was a connection with God. What I did have was prayer. What I did have was clarity. What I did have was faith. So I would say pray. That's the number one thing, right? Number two, research, research, research. Guys, anything you're trying to do, whatever your business is, whatever your service is, to help other people, to provide for other people, research other people who have done it. Not to say that you're going to do the same thing that they're doing, but you can learn a lot from what I like to call OGs in the game, the more seasoned people. The people that's been in business 10, 20, 30 years, you can learn a lot from them. You can learn about the things they did good and the things that they did bad, right? So research other small business owners, go on YouTube, do your market analysis, whatever it takes. Research, research, research. Figure it is what your lane is. You might see someone in a similar industry to you and you like, what, I like what they do. And you pick their brain a little bit and you was like, but I think I can put a certain twist on it. I can put a spin on it, make it a 2.0. And that's what you do. But you research and try to figure out how to do that. Join as many community groups as you can. Join as many Facebook groups as you can that's centered around your particular industry and what you're trying to do. Research, be resourceful, and learn. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I can't stress that. You want to be in rooms that make you feel uncomfortable. You do. You should. When you're uncomfortable, you're growing. I have to start putting myself around very smart people that were way smarter than me, right, in order to learn. Okay, so research, research, research. Now, I'm assuming that if you watching this video, you have the fundamentals done. And what I mean by fundamentals is you have your LLC established, right? You have your EIN, you have your business license. You should have all that before you even get to the next point of thinking about actually having a space, a storefront, a unit, whatever it looks like to you, whatever, is the direction that God is pushing you to. You should have those fundamentals done. Now, if you don't have your business license, LLC, EIN, those are things you have to get. If you're interested in learning how to do that, maybe you don't even know where to start with that, just DM me and we can connect, and I can send you over a list of some resources to help you get started on that. But this video is more for folks who have that established and they're just looking to perhaps take it to the next step. Okay, so you got the fundamentals done. Now what you want to do is create a budget. Now, if you went back to the other step and you've done your research, then you should understand what your budget is going to look like. If you're trying to get a space, rent a space, well, how much do you think that space is going to cost monthly? Are you going to have to pay for utilities, electricity, the water bill? You know, do you have any suppliers and vendors that you work with that you're going to have them on payroll? Do you have a team that you have to pay? You know, how much is your inventory, your startup cost going to be, right? You need to know this, and that comes with a budget. And some people might even do a forecast, a project to say, okay, well, here's my budget, but I'm going to forecast that it's going to be a little bit more than this. So I typically say you want to add at least 20 to 30% more than what you think you'll need. Listen, you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That's my saying. Okay? That's my saying. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So whatever your budget is, put 30% on top of that. So that way, when things fall through the crack, because they will. When things don't go as planned, because they will. You're not in panic mode. You're not like, oh my God, what am I going to do? You're handling it, you know, and you're making the best of it. Okay. Okay, so now you got your budget. Now you are ready for your storefront. So pick a location. Guys, this is key. This goes back to doing your research. Location is everything. And I think personally that location is really, really imperative when it comes to your product and its alignment, right? So if you cut hair or you do hair, you might want to be in an area where there's a lot of visible traffic, right? You might not want to be necessarily inside of a building where no one can see you unless you have clientele that already exists and you're not trying to build that up. But any product or service that you have, and you know you are looking to get your own space, your own storefront, you know, your own brick and mortar, whatever you want to call it, location is key. For me, because I was starting from ground up, and I really didn't have that much of an existing clientele, it was important for me to be dead front in the smack center of something where, you know, people were going to see me. I needed to be up close in front. You walk past, you're driving down a highway. Who is Vision Choice? What do they do? I've never heard of them because, again, I'm trying to build that clientele, right? So location, guys, I can't stress. Do your research. It is important. It is key. You got to look at traffic. You got to think about what are your landmarks that are around you. If you're in a dead zone area, there is not going to be any traffic coming through. Okay? Location. So you find your location, you have your landlord, and now you start negotiating your overhead, your rent, your monthly rent. You know, negotiate as best as you can. But what I recommend, understand how long it's going to take for you to get that space together. When I signed my lease, it was in June. It was June of 2024. Okay? We did not open the doors to around October, November of 2024. So because it was more time than I expected. That's why. And again, this is why I'm dropping these gems and I'm sharing this with you. It was way more time than I expected. We have to do a lot of build out. You know, we had to knock walls down, put new flooring in, put new ceilings in, get all of our displays up. Inventory didn't come as expected, you know what I'm saying, on time. You know, it was so many things. But meanwhile, we were still paying overhead. It don't matter that your door's not open and no one is coming in to shop with you. You still got to keep the lights on, okay? So what I would recommend is that you build in a build out negotiation. right? And that's basically where you say, hey, Mr. Landlord or Mrs. Landlord, listen, it's going to take me about 6 months to open the door. I know it's June, but I need 6 months before I pay you rent or pay any type of overhead in this facility, because that's just how long it's going to take, because I want my vision to be what expectations exceeds, right? And they'll work with you, man. One thing about it, you'll have some landlords who are super nice, and they understand. That's typically a question that is asked unless you're not educated about it. If you're not educated about it, they're not going to offer it. So you have to ask it, okay? Um, Confirm with the city about all the permits and city requirements and signage and everything that you'll need. Get all of that confirmed in the county and the city that you are doing business with. You know, it is very stressful that when you're ready to open your door, they say, oh, you need this permit, you need this, you need that. That could add on more time for you to even be able to open your doors. If you do this stuff up front and you do the initial legwork and the research, you got all that done. Boom, done, checked off the list. Stay ready, you don't have to get ready, right? So make sure you got your permits, y'all. Make sure you got your business license. Make sure you are 100% legit. So when you are ready to open those doors, there's nothing that is going to stop you. I can't stress that. And with the city permits and business license, and even for your outdoor signage, find out how long that's going to take for all that stuff to come, right? You want to know, you want to put a time stamp on everything, because most people, you know, when you're opening your doors, you want to do a big grand opening and everything, and you want everything to be done and perfect, right? For your baby, because that's what your business is. When you first started, it's your baby. It's your baby. You know, you water that thing from ground up. You know, you build it, you nourish it, you love it. You know, it's only as good as everything that you put in it. So make sure you do your due diligence and price everything out and get a time stamp on how long everything will take. Okay. Inventory. Oh, guys, I can't tell you the stress that all my inventory put on me. What I should have done was, the minute lease was signed, I should have boom, 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 started ordering inventory. But the thing is, when you're a small business owner and you jumping into it and you doing it by yourself, you wear so many hats. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you the market agent, you know, you're the receptionist, you know, you do everything. So give yourself grace, because it's a lot of things you just don't know. But I would highly recommend, make sure you have your inventory from when you sign that lease. The next, order your inventory, because you're going to get so busy with making sure everything else is okay. Things like that will kind of fall through the cracks, right? So whether you have a service, if you have a service, make sure you have all your service plans together. Make sure you have your scheduling. Make sure you have your staff together. Make sure you got everything done. All I's dotted, all T's crossed, guys. Okay? If you have a product, double up on it. Double up. You know, get all the inventory that you need, so that when it's time to open those doors, you are set, you are ready to go. Nothing is holding you back. Okay? And then you have to hire the manpower to help you put your stuff up, put your displays up, put your equipment up, whatever it is. You know, if you have a spot and you have tables or you have stuff that needs to be on the wall, but you got to figure out, well, how is that going to get up? Because you want it to look a certain way. Now, don't get me wrong. We are all blessed to have family members and friends. That's a beautiful thing. Now, some of y'all are blessed more than others, because y'all have people, you know, who you're close to, who they are experts in that field. And they can come in and they can get all that together for you. That's awesome. But not all of us have that, right? And so for me, I had a lot of big ticket items. Like behind me, this is a display board. All of my displays came on freight trucks. Okay? They were huge. They were heavy. I had about 8, 9 of them bad boys coming in. Y'all, they were so big that they couldn't bring them in the front door. So what they had to do was go around to the back door. They had to take apart some of the stuff to turn it to the side and bring it in and get it through my back door. You know, these are all things that I didn't necessarily prepare for. And then I didn't prepare for, okay, now who about to put these bad boys up? Because I'm blessed enough to have, someone who's handy on my team too. But there's a certain extent when it comes to dealing with fixtures, electricity, and all that stuff. You want it to be done a certain way. So when you have things, you got to think about who is your manpower going to be? Who is that help going to be? What is that going to look like? And make sure you get that stuff in order. Make sure you have your team lined up to help you, and get a schedule for them. Don't just say, hey, yeah, pop in, we got months before we open. No, don't put it on a schedule so that things are done in a timely manner. Okay. And then make sure your mental health is okay while you're doing all of this. Make sure, and that's where that prayer comes in, guys. I got to go back to that one more time. You have to stay prayed up, because it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. You want to make sure your mental health is okay, because there are times where you're going to be like, oh, what did I get myself into? In the middle of it. I know, if I'm being 100% honest, when I was doing my build out in 2024, there was times where I had to stop and be like, ooh, this is a lot. This is a lot, but when you see it all come together, oh, none but God. And it's all worth it. Let me just say that. But yeah, make sure your mental is right. Make sure you're not overwhelming yourself. Guys, don't be afraid to delegate, meaning, have people help you out. Get a team, get a staff. Don't try to do everything on your own. And I know. Everyone is not going to do it the way you do it. You're right. This is your vision. This is your baby. This is your business. Nobody is going to do the day-to-day like you. Okay? But at least you'll be there to oversee it. You have to have extra pair of hands helping you if you don't want all that weight on your shoulders. So take it from me, somebody who tried to take everything on and had to just start delegating, and you'll see that from your passion of what God has put in you, it will spill over and pour into other people. And they will start to love your journey, and they will start to want, they will want to be a part of it. So delegate. I can't stress that. Keep your faith strong. A test will come. I know y'all like, she keep talking about prayer and faith. Absolutely, because that's the glue. Keep it strong. Okay. There will be a test, then you have a little stress, and then you're going to be blessed, period. In that order. That's how it works. Test, stress, blessed. Okay? Keep that faith strong. If you are not self-motivated, if you don't have tenacity, you will learn it, you will get it. You have to develop tenacity, guys. You have to be your biggest cheerleader for yourself. Nobody's coming to save you with this. This is your business. Okay? This is not you working for somebody else, a 9 to 5, and you don't understand it and you can just quit. No, quitting is not an option. It's either go work or it's go work. Okay? I can't stress that. So develop that tenacity. Be your biggest cheerleader. Wanting validation from other people, that has to stop. Now, don't get me wrong. I know we all like to hear people say, man, you did your thing. Congratulations. And that's great. That's great that people see your worth. That's great that people see what God put inside you. But let me tell you something. You have to see it in you too. Okay? Your self-validation should be enough. You shouldn't be doing it so other people can say, because there's going to be times where nobody is. It gets quiet. It gets quiet. On those days where it's kind of slow, it gets quiet. And it's you left alone with your own thoughts. So you have to be your biggest cheerleader. Validate yourself, love yourself. And that goes back to prayer. Okay, I'm just saying, that goes back to prayer. You stay prayed up, you are your biggest cheerleader because you God's child. I can't lose. I'm God's child. So stay prayed up, have tenacity, keep your faith strong. This is a heavy one. That's why I'm pausing. Remember, leadership feels heavy way before it feels rewarding. It's not easy. Everybody want to be a boss. Everybody want to have their own business. And that's a beautiful thing. But you got to understand everything that comes with it. And I could tell you, glory to God, in June, we'll be celebrating 2 years at Vision Choice. And it has been a up and down roller coaster ride. Okay. I'm still learning so much, but I have to share it. I surround myself with people where we're kind of growing together. You just have to remember that leadership, it feels heavy before it's rewarding. You will have rewards, because I'm already reaping rewards. It's starting to be such a up and down balance. But when it's good, it's good. But when it's bad, y'all. So you have to be prepared for that heavy part. That's a part of leadership. It's a part of leadership. It comes with the territory. But don't get scared. Don't run when it comes. You know what I'm saying? Buck up. Stick your chest out. Hold your head up high. Right? Remember those exciting days when God put that vision in you and you were so excited and you saw it before it happened. You got to hold on to that. Okay? You got to hold on to that. It's going to be heavy, but it will get rewarding. Live by principle, guys. Live by principle. That's one of the things that kind of stay with me, and it keeps me grounded. I believe in you learn something, and the great thing about learning is it never stops. I am constantly learning, constantly learning, constantly learning. It never stops. But as you learn, you do. And then you do, and you teach. That's it. That's the key. That's the secret sauce. I hope that I have helped someone. Again, if I've helped one person with part 2 of the journey, then I've done something good, and I feel good about that. If anyone has a question about this process, let me know. Feel free to DM me. If you want that checklist, let me know. DM me. I will email you the checklist. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to me. And just hang in there for all my business owners who are just starting out. Keep your head up and just hang in there. If you want to know where you can get the latest and the greatest eyewear, you need to go to www.vision-choice.com. And I got the latest and the greatest for you for sure. Stay prayed up, guys, and the Eyeglass Lady is signing out.